This is Get Details, made by humans for humans. Welcome to our quest to find the most transformative invention of the modern age. Most historians agree the modern age began right around the dawning of the 19th century, so that gives us a little more than 200 years to deal with. What amazing transformative invention was more revolutionary than any other? That's a question that has different answers depending on your viewpoint. So let's take a stab and say it was the computer. What an amazing, innovative, groundbreaking device that was. Think of all the things we do with computers these days. It's hard to find too many things that don't involve one. Of course, there are manual ways of doing things, but when you consider how all electronic communication is digitized and controlled by computers, it's a pretty big deal. Plus all the traffic signals, airplanes, factory assembly lines, water purification, elevators, self-driving vehicles, and millions of other things all controlled by computers. So computers must be the most important invention of the modern age. Well, no, not exactly. We're thinking of something more pivotal than even digitization, which was a total game changer, and it continues to be every single day. But earlier than the computer was TV, and before that was radio. And before that, well, radio really began for the public in the early 1920s, so it was before that for sure, and it had to be hugely important. Well, how about the automobile? Yeah, really, what has changed the world like a car? Now that's a big deal, but it wasn't Henry Ford, even though he was responsible for spreading the car far and wide at a lower price than anyone else, but he did not invent it. He perfected the assembly line and the design of his vehicles, but someone else had a hand on the first steering wheel, which wasn't a wheel at all. It was more like a rudder, like on a boat. And that hand, of course, belonged to Carl Benz. Everyone knows he invented the first car in 1886, and that was really early, but not the earliest we can imagine. And actually, the automobile was not a completely new invention either. There were steam-powered vehicles more than a century before that, way back in 1769, when a Frenchman named Nicolas Cugnot invented the first self-propelled road vehicle, a kind of a military tractor. It needed some work, and it wasn't exactly pivotal, or we'd all be driving steam-powered cars right now. So it was earlier than Benz's first car, and it was huge. Well, how about the telephone? Now that is a really big deal, and is about 10 years before the car. And it was definitely a game changer, even bigger than the telegraph, which Samuel F.B. Morse invented in the early 1840s. But that was really an improvement on an invention in England by William Fothergill Cooke and Charles Wheatstone in 1837. But still, even as big a deal as the telegraph and the telephone were, it's not the answer. And to be honest, we're starting to run out of time if we limit ourselves to the modern age, which began right around 1800. Whatever could it be? That was something so earth-shattering that all the other inventions we've talked about up till now would not be possible without it. Now, it wasn't the electric light, and it wasn't even matches that were invented in 1826. No, the most notable invention that laid the foundation for all the major innovations that would follow belonged to an Italian inventor who was once a professor of physics. His name is also immortalized as a word that's used every day. Any guesses? It's Alessandro Giuseppe Antonio Anastasio Volta, better known as Alessandro Volta, as in electric volts and voltage. He basically invented a way to harness electricity with his voltaic pile, which was the very first battery. Now, you may argue Ben Franklin should get credit because of his work with the kite, and that's true. While old Ben did get knocked on his butt, he didn't have a way to use the electricity for work. And really, that's what makes the jolting juice so special. You can use it to do things. So if you think about it, the world will be amazingly different without electricity. And that's why our most pivotal inventor isn't Nikola Tesla, because without a source of electricity, he may not have become an inventor. He might have become a clergyman, like his dad. And that's why this broad shoulder episode is on the shoulders of Alessandro Volta, the father of the battery, and pretty much all the electronics that followed. Hey, thanks for watching. This is Get Details. Be sure to check out our other almost informative videos made by humans like me for you.